Happy to be back with you again this morning. Coming to you live out of Naples, Florida. It's a beautiful morning here in Naples, and I hope it is where you're at. So let's say hi to each other. We always want to start by chatting it up a little bit, saying hello and who's out there and celebrating our time together. So let's celebrate each other. Come on, let us know who's here and say good morning to your friends and colleagues. And I got to tell you, we've been enjoying these conversations. We've built quite a team here, a group of leaders, and it's just good to see everybody's face this morning and hear them say hello. So good morning, Caroline. Good to see you. I know you're having a good day and ready for a good sales week. Hey, Kristen, good to see you. I bet it is hot in Sarasota. It's a little warm here this morning too, but we live near the coast. We're fortunate. Good morning, Carrie. So good to see you. And Julianne, good to see you. And Robin, oh yeah, Lori, Mark, Richard, yes. No, not Richard, Rochelle. Yeah, Rochelle Blair, good to see you. Yes, I just saw something. I don't know, your name came up a while ago. Maybe it was on, I think it was on Agile or one of them. Hey, Beretta, how you doing? Stephanie, good to see you. Rebecca, good to see you. What a great group this morning. I like it, Beretta. Always good to be grateful, right? Grateful to be joining everyone. And we do have a great group here, and it just encourages my heart every Wednesday, gets my week going, and my midweek, get over the hump. You know, I always love that commercial. Hump day. So anyway, welcome. Let's go. We're going to have a good time here. Anybody else out there, come on in. We want this to be very interactive today. You know, we're down. Good morning, Allison. How are you doing? Great to see you. I got to tell you, we've had a really good time doing this. This is our 25th week. I mean, wow, 25 sessions together. I hope you found them to be as fun as I have. We've learned a lot from you. We've just learned a lot doing this, and it's just been a real joy. You are a great group, dedicated to your profession, dedicated to each other and your colleagues, and you want to build great companies and do great things in your community. And I can't think of a better way to spend time together than with people that have that commitment, that passion. Next week, we're going to take the week off and enjoy and celebrate our independence and enjoy the 4th of July holiday week. We know a lot of people travel and take vacation that week, so we didn't want to disrupt that. I hope everybody gets to, hey, Nicole, good to see you. I hope everybody gets to spend a little time with family and friends and enjoy some summer fun. Right. And so we're going to take that week off and celebrate all together and come back on the 13th. Now, on the 13th, we're going to wrap this up. This will be our 26th session. We're going to really lay the groundwork. I told Jim and Jody and Karen, then we're going to put a little pressure on ourselves. We're going to really lay the groundwork for what we plan to do in Point of Vita with the Capstone. And I think that's going to be a good conversation on the 13th because it's going to be a true conversation. Here's the things we're thinking about. Here's how we want to really bring together a day of learning and application of learning and getting to know ourselves and getting to know how we apply our influence to make a difference in our careers and our profession in our life, and really have a day talking about leadership. One of the things we haven't settled for sure, but I'll give you a little teaser on that I really plan to do is come back for those that can't be at the conference or can't be at the Capstone. We're going to come back and do a little preview after the session. What did we learn? What did we get out of that? What are the applicable skills that we learned? Hey, Dave, good to see you. And really, you know, at the end of the day, I hope everything is beautiful in New York today, by the way, Dave. I bet it's a little cooler there than it is for us Floridians today. But we really want this to be something that you can take away. Jody mentioned the other day, I thought it was really good. What are the things that you are going to stop doing, having been through this, the learnings? You know, we talk a lot about essentialism. How do we prioritize our time, not spending time on the trivial many, but really focusing on the essential few activities that really are going to make a difference to us as individuals, to us as a team, and to our organizations. And we really want to make this a time that you look back on and say, okay, this was productive. I stopped doing things that really were draining me or draining a lot of my time. I started doing other things around a really highly disciplined approach to business, to leadership, to just life, right? Because in a lot of ways, leadership, it carries over into all aspects of our life, and the principles that we talk about, it really is about being our best selves. And then, what are those things we're going to continue to do? We were doing well, and we're going to continue to develop them to better. So I know that a lot of leaders are going to be asking other leaders that go to that conference it was an investment. I was talking to a group yesterday. Anytime we do anything related to bettering ourselves or investing in ourselves, we're expecting something out of that, right? We're not just doing it because we don't have anything to do. You are all very busy people, and I highly respect that you give your time to this process, to this commitment to being in this series, and we honor that, and we want it to be meaningful to you. So in doing that, we're going to ask that you send to me, you can send it to wrb@barkerss.com, wrb@barkerss.com, or to Jim, Jody, or Karen, any of us. But anything that you want to make sure we discuss on our last, hey, Daryl, great to see you from Florence. Daryl and I go way, way back. What you would like to make sure we touch on as we build out that capstone. What would you recommend that how we spend time that day? We've got some ideas, but we want to get your ideas. And anything that you would like for us just to touch on in that last session, I want you to send it to me, because we want to make this all about you. So let's get into it a little bit today. We're down. We're going to give a book away today again. Today's book's going to be Essentialism. I every series I do, or every meeting I have, almost, we get into this discussion about really making decisions around how it's not a time management thing. It's really about the essence of understanding what's important and how we spend our time. So we wrapped up last week kind of going through the first 6 or 7 series and reminding ourselves, reflecting back on the conversation and what we took away. So today we're going to continue to move through that. And in this, as we're hearing these things, you got questions, please pop in chat. If you got ideas you want to share around any of these components of leadership that we reflect back on, please chat that up as well. But we're going to kick off remembering one thing. True success is overcoming the fear of being unsuccessful. Remember, we got into change and we started talking about that. We started talking about self-disruption for the sake of reconstruction, right? And good morning, Terry. Good to see you from Pasco County this morning. So change moves us forward beyond these fears, right? We can't be so concerned about failure that we don't do anything. It keeps us growing. It keeps us moving. It keeps us going forward. One of the things on my mind this morning a lot is courage. We talked a lot about courage throughout our series. We're in a period of time now. We're in summer, kind of the summer lulls. We know the economy's being challenged. We got a war. We got inflation. We got a lot of things that are affecting businesses. We got a lot of things that are affecting confidence. You saw yesterday in the press, consumer confidence is taking a little bit of a hit, right? And that affects the macro marketplace and the stock market and everything. So let's think about that again. Let's reflect back on that. Courage is something that people are going to be looking to you as an influencer, as a leader. They're going to be looking to how you are responding to the things out of your control. We talk about what do we do about what we can control, what we can't control, but those things out of your control, how do you respond to those things and demonstrate courage, right? Billy Graham said it really well. Courage is contagious, right? When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are often stiffened. That is a great quote. Courage stands up to uncertainty. It faces adversity head on with the confidence to move forward. It gives others courage to follow. And remember, we talk a lot about we want to build leaders, and leaders influence, and others are inspired by that influence. And so followership in that regard is collaboration, building off of the energy of each other, the sharing of the passion around a mission. Albert Einstein said, anyone who has never made a mistake has never tried anything new. So don't be afraid to step out there. Make a difference, have an impact, learn, and move forward. I was with a group yesterday, and we talked about the greatest learning that company had ever had was in times when they didn't do their best, but it catapulted them to doing better and not uh, it's doing that history over and over again, right? So their best learnings came from some of their lowest points. So in reality, that is the basis for building that courage. Remember, without failure, there's no achievement. Trying new methods and processes demonstrates the courage to explore. Change can be terribly disruptive. I love this, but without disruption, there is no reconstruction of better ways of doing things, right? So that should be the mantra for the day in this particular market, this particular time. Companies and their leaders don't disrupt themselves for exploring, embracing, and implementing new technologies and training. A more forward-looking competitor will definitely do it for them. So if you don't do it, somebody's going to fill that space in the marketplace. That is truly the dynamics of a market, right? The market is going to always be in evolution and in evolving. And if your business and you as individuals aren't evolving with the marketplace and at the speed of the marketplace, you can't expect to probably get behind, right? Companies don't grow unless people do. So self-disruption, as we talked about, must always occur before reconstruction can begin and transform people and company that they keep. So evolution is the solution to transformative change. Evolution is the solution to transformative change. We must evolve alongside quickly emerging technologies to remain competitive and relevant. Relevancy. We talked a lot about relevancy. Leaders go first, identifying and removing obstacles in the path forward, whether it's mental roadblocks or outdated organizational processes. Remember, get the mental roadblocks out through courage, through collaboration, through building relationships, and we're going to talk a little bit about those other things, and then make sure that your processes are current with today. But eventually, when we do these things, true transformation takes great leadership and time, but eventually a change agent emerges. That's where we ended on the change topic. We do all these things right. We emerge as not just have the courage to drive forward, but we drive us forward as a change agent. We talked about the 3 P's of leading change, and these were passion, planning, and perseverance, right? The passion to be enthusiastic and encouraging about what are the possibilities out there. Planning, right? Involving all and charting a course forward toward a common goal. Remember, that's bringing them in closer, letting people have a voice, giving them the latitude to make judgments and do things and make decisions and teach on their judgment and the outcomes, right? And then perseverance, never allowing disruptions to derail the motivation to succeed. Just don't ever get derailed by any degree of failure. It is a path toward greater success. The effective leader navigates change by providing these 4 things: the compass, the confidence, the courage, and demonstrates the commitment. The compass, the confidence, the courage, and they demonstrate the commitment. All right, any thoughts out there on that? Pop it in there. So let's keep going. Reflecting back on other things. Of all the leadership traits we've discussed, probably none is more important than resilience. Remember, we got into that. Resiliency is the new power skill in today's ever-evolving workplace. Show that resiliency. It's the fortitude to turn a setback into a comeback. Remember, we already talked about that, but that's bringing it home. It's the fortitude to turn a setback into a comeback. It's the ability to keep moving forward despite obstacles. The quote we reflected on that day was, "We are all faced with a series of great opportunities brilliantly disguised as impossible situations. Alleged impossibilities are opportunities for our capabilities to be stretched." Great quote by Charles Swindoll. And Beretta says, "To be a champion, compete. To be a great champion, compete with the best. But to be the greatest champion, compete with yourself." Ooh, I like that quote. Bastana Del Wall. That's awesome, bro. Jim, capture that for us. I like that. So then we moved into the good sense of keeping talent dense, right? So we went away from individual leadership. That's all of what we had built into. Now we really got into the really talent game, the really important aspect of talent density. So what can we learn from this concept of talent density? We spent a couple of series kind of around this concept, but the key was hire followers to add growth, but hire leaders to multiply growth. And we spent a little bit of time on that. Our takeaway from that, though, was the more talent density you have, the less process you need. Let that sink in a little bit. The more talent density you have, the less process you need. The more process you create, the less talent you retain. And that was Reed Hastings, the founder of Netflix, who really put a lot of research and wrote a book that came out that got a lot of people talking about this whole talent density concept. But let that sink in. The more talent dense you are, the less process you need. I went through a Leadership Florida program one time and was working with a company that I'd never heard this before. They had no rules. Their rule was, if we need rules, we need to solve that problem. It's either the individual, our culture, or something. And this CEO and founder had two ways of thinking. One, he wanted his people to be self-funding. Now, he was a research firm and they did a lot of innovation. They're around innovation in aerospace and all that. So there's a lot of grant money and all around that. So, but anyway, we all should think about how are we bringing more value than we're taking out of the organization, the concept of self-funding, right? But he just believed culturally, and I thought this was one of the smartest things I ever heard, was that if he needed a rule, he needed to solve the cultural problem, right? Was it the person? And if the person couldn't work collaboratively with his colleague and get over the need for a rule, then he didn't want the person there to disrupt the company. Because he'd come from NASA where they had reams and reams of rules, and it really bogged down the organization. I think that's what Reed was trying to get to here in this whole concept of talent density. Hire the best and let them be the best, right? Then we talked about aligning that talent to strategy, right? Putting people in a position to win. See how these things all just kind of kept stacking on top of each other? And our quote came from the Human Capital Institute was, talent must be viewed as the most indispensable ingredient for success. But success also depends on how that talent is managed. Now, for me, I modify that quote just a little bit at the end. I'm not a big fan of the word managed. I think sometimes that gives the wrong sense of what that is trying to get at. What it's really getting at is the environment, right? Cultivating that talent, right? Creating an environment for that talent to thrive and inspiring that talent through a common mission or goal or vision, right? But the truth is, you can't just think that you bring talent in and not have structure around that in terms of a goal, setting priorities, those essentialism concepts. That's what that's really trying to get at. Creating that environment where when you hire the best are going to perform at that level. The key is to be given the freedom and flexibility to fully exercise those talents and realize the results that only that talent can achieve. Then we jumped into the don't let the creep in, right? Keeping mission creep out of focus. And our quote there was, outstanding people, and this came from Zig Ziglar, one of my favorites. Outstanding people have one thing in common, an absolute sense of mission. And I couldn't agree more. They get up every day purposeful. They get up every day with the intentions of doing good work and good things and having people around them that have that same sense of urgency and positivity and belief. Leaders understand the mission, define it clearly, and move it forward. They keep their eye on the goal. They're undeterred by the distractions, and in spite of the setbacks, leaders stay the course. They keep striving to win. That was our takeaway from that series. Then we talked a lot about synergies. How do we create complementary connections? Very important. Synergistic conversations are very important. It's where the value is ultimately created, right? It creates complementary collaboration toward common goals. It aligns the resources and skills toward those goals, and that's how you maximize return. It's the additional value that is generated by creating opportunities that would not have been available to those firms operating independently. So it's taking the best and the strengths of many and putting them together for the greater good of the whole. So our takeaway that day was, by creating engaging team synergy, you can empower a diversely talented team to work together and achieve highly impactful solutions that can improve products, processes, and profits. Then we got into relationships. Honesty, integrity, they all form the foundation for trust. Trust is most important. So how do we build good relationships? Let's reflect back on that as leaders that are mutually rewarding for everyone. Take opportunities to tell people how much you value them and why. Encourage others. Remember, they encourage the heart piece. And if you're going to delegate, empower as well. Show humility. Don't confuse talking with communicating. I just love that. Be tender when you have to be tough. Be purposeful in difficult conversations. Remember, small gestures can make a big impact. Insist on being on time. Punctuality shows respect. Seek respect, not attention, because it lasts longer. And finally, champion others to feel like winners, and they often will be. Relationships are the reward that we take with us. Our takeaway was every day we make deposits in the memory banks of others. Long after the work is done, the relationships linger. That's what was most remembered. And then we finally wrapped up around servant leadership. The essence of the servant leader is leading with a caring heart. If serving is below you, then leadership is beyond you. Remember that quote? Leadership is about who you're going to help. Leadership isn't about what you do yourself. Leadership is about who you are taking with you. The quote we used was Martin Luther King. Everyone can be great because everyone can serve. And that was a great day of reflection on what true leadership ultimately means. And our takeaway was we have significance if we serve. And then we wrapped it up with meaning and the surplus of purpose. And, we all have gifts and talents. And when we cultivate those gifts and share them with the world, we create a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. And I think that's a great way to close out our series, right? Be purposeful in all we do. Work for a cause, not applause. Live to express, not impress. Don't strive to make your presence noticed, but make your absence felt. And our final quote was Billy Sunday. More men fail through lack of purpose than lack of talent. And I thought that was a great wrap. Everyone, I got to tell you, I have just thoroughly enjoyed this. Stephanie Bird, congratulations on winning the book. We appreciate you being here every week. And that book, Essentialism, that I've encouraged most of you to do, is a great book. And we will see you, Stephanie, at conference along with so many of you as well. Thank you for your time over these weeks. I hope you got something out of it. As I reflected back over all these sessions and even going through that this morning, I had chills a couple of times, leadership is something that we all should honor, to have to be in a position where other people will pay attention to us and be encouraged by us, and then they encourage us in return. So thank you for your time. I hope you have a great 4th of July holiday. We'll see some of you. I hope we see all of you on the 13th. We'll see some of you in Point Vedra. And in the meantime, lead on.